Welcome back. Dhul Hijjah, which is the 12th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, is the month of general amnesty and forgiveness in which the worship of Hajj is fulfilled. The first 10 holy months, the holy nights rather, we're talking about, and the 10th day is the first day of Eid al-Adha. What a magnificent treasure is the 10 nights mentioned in the beginning of the chapter Al-Fajr in the Quran as by the 10 nights or Al-Ashr al-Awail. And to shed more light on the topic, we're delighted to be joined by Dr. Saeed Kishk, an Islamic researcher and Al-Azhar scholar. Good morning, Dr. Kishk.
Good morning to all our dear viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Right. Happy Greater Byram to you in advance.
Eid al-Mubarak.
Eid al-Mubarak to you, sir. So the month of Dhul Hijjah is indeed a month of tremendous virtues and blessings. Talk to us about why is it so special to God and why was it mentioned?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises to Allah. May Allah peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To all our dear viewers, كل عام وحضراتكم بخير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran swear by great things. Allah swear by layal al-ashr. Allah says, وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ الْعَشْرِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swear in the Holy Quran in the chapter of Al-Fajr by the dawn. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swear by layal al-ashr, the 10 nights. Ulama, Muslim scholars disagree about which layal al-ashr, which is the 10 days Allah means in the Quran. Some of them say that they are the last 10 days of Ramadan. But the preferable opinion that they are the first 10 nights of the Hijjah. That's why when Ibn Taymiyyah was asked about which better are the last 10 days of Ramadan is better than the first 10 days of the Hijjah or the vice versa. Ibn Taymiyyah says that the first 10 days of the Hijjah is better than the last 10 days of Ramadan. But the last 10 nights, al-layal, the last 10 nights of Ramadan are better than the last 10 nights of the Hijjah. This is because even the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah says, ما من أيام أعظم عند الله ولا أحب إليه العمل فيهن من أيام عشر ذي الحجة أو قال في هذه الأيام فأكثروا فيهن من التسبيح والتكبير والتحميد والتهليل. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in an authentic hadith saying that the best days in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the first 10 days of the Hijjah. Ulama even they say that they are the best 10 days of they are the best days in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they are gathering all acts of worship, including al-Hajj. Muslims can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by performing al-Hajj because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, al-Hajju ashhurun ma'lumat. That al-Hajj is performing for a specific month. As we know that Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, and Zulhijjah. And of course they are recommended to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by praying and fasting. So the ulama say that Muslim can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by all acts of worship, mainly by the 5 pillars of Islam, because they are recommended to fast during these days. Some of it's recommended, of course, to fast the 10 days of the month of the first 10 nights or the first 10 days of the Hijjah. But it's highly recommended to fast the 9th day of the Hijjah, which is al-Wuquf ba'Arafah, which is the day of Arafah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked about it. He said that يُكَفِّرُ سَنَةً مَاضِيَةً وَسَنَةً سَأَلْ. So fasting during Arafah It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives the sins of previous year and of the next year. So Muslims are recommended to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by all acts of worship during these days, by making Hajj or performing Hajj. They were recommended to fast. They recommended to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not only to pray the obligatory prayer, but to pray extra prayer, which is sunnah prayer. To get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by paying more charity, more zakah. That's why ulama say that these 10 days particularly, they can get closer by the all act of worship. That's why they are one of the best 10 days in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam even says that ما من أيام العمل الصالح ولا ما من أيام أعظم عند الله ولا أحب إليه العمل فيهن من أيام عشر من ذي الحجة. That's why the Prophet Muhammad says that فأكثروا فيهن من التسبيح. Remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What takbir? Saying Allahu Akbar. And this is sunnah, is great sunnah. If Muslims can do it, like they can make saying Allahu Akbar loudly, or they can make even a little bit on television or on the car, which is reviving this sunnah. Umar ibn al-Khattab, during these days, used to say Allahu Akbar loudly. When Muslims hearing him saying Allahu Akbar loudly, they even do whatever he did, or they imitate him till Mina at these days was shaking by saying Allahu Akbar. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying it's recommended فأكثروا فيهن من التسبيح والتكبير والتحميد والتهليل.
Right. These were the basic rites we are supposed to do in the first 10 days. But let's talk about the deeds. Let's talk about what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to behave, what exact good deeds that should we be doing during those 10 days in order that we could probably come closer to God.
As we said, that ulama saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preferred these days, or the Prophet Muhammad says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said that these are the best 10 days in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Muslim can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by all act of worship, by any act of worship. Salah, Muslim recommended to make it more extra prayer, even sunnah prayer. As for Siyam, it's recommended for Muslim to fast during these 10 days. If he can do fast the first 10 days of the Hijjah, it's better. If he couldn't, it's highly recommended for him to fast Yawm Arafah, which is the 9th day of the Hijjah, because because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives the sin of 2 years because of the fasting on this day. But this is for the people who are witnessing, to make it clear. This is because, or this is for the people who are not witnessing the Arafah. What I mean, for those who are performing the Arafah, or for those who are performing Hajj and standing on Arafah,
right,
it's not recommended for them to fast.
Right.
But I'm talking about Muslims, that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easier for them next year, inshallah, to perform Hajj. Ameen.
Inshallah.
We are recommended to fast during Arafah.
Right. On this note, Dr. Saeed Kishk, Islamic researcher and Azhar scholar, would like to thank you so much and enjoy Greater Bayram, inshallah, with all Egyptians, hopefully next week. And by this, we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you once again tomorrow morning, that's a goodbye.